My name's James Turoff. I am the General Counsel and Secretary at the Hershey Company, where I've been in that role about three and a half years. The legal department here comprises a number of different factions. So we've got traditional law, some contracts and SEC and labor employment. We've also got privacy, compliance and ethics, enterprise risk management and enterprise resiliency, and government relations, as well as our global security team. And it's growing. Because we've demonstrated the ability to provide great advice, to be strategic advisors to the business, and to really bring some actionable insights from a risk awareness perspective. That has in turn required us to take on more strategic work as we've done. It's sort of the prize for winning the pie eating contest is more pie. So you do good work in these strategic endeavors and you get more of it. Which is awesome. It's exactly where we want the department to be and how we want to be positioned relative to our clients. But it also means we need to find more efficient, effective ways to get the rest of the work done. That work doesn't go away. The day-to-day advising and day-to-day contracts and sort of keeping the lights on. And that's where our partnership with groups like Axiom and specifically, the secondment model, the overflow model and advice and counsel model have been such huge contributors to our ability to continue to do that work in a really cost-effective but really value-oriented manner and provide great work product that is the baseline and bread and butter of what we do every day, while freeing up some of our attorney time to do that more strategic engagement that you really need to have that close business connection because you're in with them day to day, really talking about the most challenging, the most pressing matters, and that balance is critical. And without Axiom, we would never be able to do it. So it's a huge resource for us in our team that we continue to lean into more and more. There's a number of things we get out of using the full suite, and particularly the Axiom advice and counsel model. One is certainly efficiencies. Axiom is a known quantity here, and we've built a relationship that Axiom has taken a lot of time to invest in. So we know when we pick up the phone that we're going to get the kind of quality service, attention, and response that we know we need, that you would expect from a full service law firm. There is also significant dollars savings associated with not having to go to sort of the more expensive big firm model for that work, which is where we would have gone traditionally. If it didn't fall within the secondment model or just the overflow work, and we needed to go to a firm, our only option previously was either go to a big firm or a regional shop, both of which we've got relationships with, of course, but we lose something in the efficiencies, both because they're not working on the day-to-day work with us like Axiom already is. And because, of course, their cost model is just significantly different than what the Axiom advice and counsel model is. So there's a cost savings that is significant in using the Axiom advice and counsel model that, coupled with the efficiency and the really great value-oriented and business-focused delivery that comes with it, is just an all-around win for all of us on the team. So it's an easy build for us once the team has gotten engaged and started to see how it works, for them to start thinking about Axiom not just as this is where I go for secondment work, this is where I go when I have an overflow need, to this is where I go for all of my legal work, unless there's some reason not to. I think from a strategic perspective, because we do use Axiom as a full service suite, and we try to leverage all of the offerings that you have. There is a strategic partnership element in there that the Axiom team that we work with regularly, whether they're on the secondment side, the advice and counsel side, or in between, really understands the ethos of the company and what we're trying to do, and they understand the needs of the legal department. And that is not something that we get with a lot of our firms. And when we think about AI, that at least from a Hershey perspective, I can tell you, internally, we aren't equipped to have to even be able to track all of the regulations and rules that are coming online and how that impacts what you can do from a legal perspective, how that impacts your business operations. So we do expect Axiom to, have the bandwidth that they are tracking that and interpreting it for us and saying, here are the rules of the road that you need to know. And here's how we're investing in our teams both for those that will have AI expertise that they can bring to the table when our needs pop up, which they do every single day, but also to say how Axiom is using AI to drive additional efficiencies within the services that they're providing. For us, there's been no difference in terms of the level of quality and the expertise that we need. So for the work that we send to Axiom, we don't sacrifice quality in favor of price or efficiency. We look and demand the best of both, and Axiom is able to deliver that. And Axiom's bench is deep enough, at least we have found in every area where that's come up. Again, it's rare to be able to say, let's look at the next player on the bench. And so from a quality perspective, it's been top notch, and the bench has been sufficiently deep for us that when there has been a bobble here or there, we've gotten a backfill into that role, and it's worked out marvelously. And one of the things that Axiom brings that you don't get, when you're doing traditional recruiting, is all of the input and data on the attorneys that are in your model. And so you get real world experience from clients that says, this person's great. Here's what they're great at. Here's what they deliver. Here's how they show up. You can't get that when you're just using a recruiting firm to say, they think everybody's great, and they probably are. But having the data to support it is really, I think, head and shoulders above what other recruiting firms bring to the table. Then the kind of try before you buy model is, I think, a wonderful, wonderful way to do business. We've done that before you had that model, actually. We did that with our legal operations team. So she started as an Axiom resource for us, and she was fantastic, and we converted her into full-time. So maybe we were at the forefront of this try before you buy and setting it up as a permanent model, because it was wonderful. So we would absolutely use it again should the need and when the need arises, because I think getting, it's great to have the data behind it. That's head and shoulders above what you normally get. If you get a trial period with somebody where you can actually see their work product for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months, whatever the period is, and you know what you're getting beyond the 30-minute interview, that to me lands in the most successful placements you're ever going to find. So the legal ops person that we brought in has been wildly successful. She worked on our account for 6 months, so we knew exactly what she was bringing to the table, and that's unique and special. So whether that's the traditional secondment model, that's things like the advice and counsel, sort of full service law firm model that you've developed. It's the services that sort of fit in between those cracks. Then it's the things like the recruiting model and the try before you buy, and having that all in one place. I think that's incredibly innovative. I haven't seen that. Certainly, law firms aren't in that business. I haven't seen any of the other ALSPs that offer that range and that suite of services. Being able to see and talk through some of how those innovations have come to pass and what the next innovation might look like and the next. Axiom does a great job really pulsing their clients, whether they're general counsels or others, to get a feel for what they need. Like, where are the gaps in service today that you can't get? And I think Axiom is very responsive to that in a thoughtful way, in a pragmatic way. Getting folks to think beyond Axiom as the secondment model and think of them as a full service law firm model, and really take advantage of all the other offerings that Axiom has. We're leaning into all of them. So getting people to think about it as, oh, maybe this isn't right for a secondment. Maybe what I really need is just somebody on call for this work. And that mindset shift, it does take time to sort of build and develop and get people out of, when I have a need, I pick up the phone and I call a law firm. So that's why we switched, as I mentioned the last time we talked, we switched to the tell me why not Axiom, because that really has started that wave of, oh, I've got to think really differently about this.